Good morning. We just heard an extraordinary presentation from Gabriel Byrne. I'm Tom Stewart, and I have the honor of presenting and moderating a panel that will discuss some of the issues of the future of business. What we heard was about three extraordinary developments in the world of bits, in the world of technology. We heard about mobility, which will quadruple the number of people who have access to the internet, is quadrupling it as we speak. We heard about the cloud, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 16% and hockey stick. We heard about what SAP calls in-memory computing and how it's going to drive quantum leaps in processing speed. But let's think also of the world of atoms. And before I bring our panel out, I want to just point out four megatrends in the world of atoms that will intersect with this world of bits. Think about the new demographics, for example. Thinking about the aging populations in the West and in Japan and now in China, and contrast that with the growing populations and the growing working age populations in India, Brazil, and various other countries. Enormous effects are going to spring from this demographic change. The Arab Spring is not a mere random event. It is also driven by the demographic phenomenon. Think about the fact that what we used to call developing and now call emerging economies will soon be fully fledged and emerge. At Booz & Company, we've calculated that only 52% of the 2,500 largest public companies in the world are now domiciled in the US and the OECD. Think about inclusiveness. If you look at the world's college-age population, college graduate population, only 17% are white and male. And think about issues of sustainability, not just about carbon and climate change, important as those are, but also generally about the issues of the company's relationship to society. We have an extraordinary group of four people here to discuss the future of business, and I'd like to invite them out onto the stage now. If you will, I'm not sure where they're going to come from. But Michio Kaku, who's known to many of you, one of the best-known faces in science, the co-founder of string field theory in 1974, currently involved in defining the theory of everything. He's a best-selling author, TV and radio host, Harvard Business Review, Strategy and Business Magazine, the author of two critically acclaimed books, Serious Play, How the World's Best Companies Stimulate to Innovate, and Shared Minds on the New Technologies of Collaboration. Next to him, Isabel Aguilera is one of only two women to have ever been chosen as one of Fortune's top 50 most influential executives in the world. Formerly the chief executive in the Iberian Peninsula for Dell, Google, and General Electric, she's left mega corporations to start a startup called TwinDocs, a cloud-based service for protecting confidential information in the cloud. And finally, last but certainly not least, on my left, your right, Peter Diamandis is the chairman and CEO of the X Prize Foundation, which leads the world in designing large incentive prizes to drive radical breakthroughs for the benefit of humanity. You know of some of the X Prizes. He's funded the $10 million X Prize for private spacecraft and for 100-mile-an-hour per gallon equivalent cars. Now launching new prizes in exploration, life sciences, education, and energy. So this is our panel. Our topic is the large topic, the future of business. And what I want to do is just begin by asking, I think I'm going to begin by asking Michio if he would take a look at science and the increasing capabilities of machines. And if you think about business as sort of a balancing act between what people can do and what machines can do, what are we going to see in the next 10, 15, 20 years that in machine capability that is going to blow our minds and change the way business is done?
Well, we've just had a very successful space shuttle launch. Congratulations to the people at Kennedy Space Center. However, your cell phone today has more computer power than all of NASA in 1969 when they put 2 men on the moon. When I see these old videotapes of the NASA computers of 1969, 64 kilobyte computers, I say to myself, I wouldn't get into one of those space capsules given the computer technology back then. Well, that's Moore's Law. Computer power doubles every 18 months. And it means that even the nature of capitalism itself is beginning to change into something that I call perfect capitalism. When you go into a store today, you're surrounded by products, but you don't know the exact price and value of these products. In the future, the internet will be in your eyeglasses, and beyond that, in your contact lens. When you blink, you will see all the products arrayed with all the prices. You will know exactly what things really cost. That's perfect capitalism. These glasses, by the way, and contact lens will also identify people's faces. You will always know who are you talking to. So at a cocktail party, you'll know exactly who to suck up to at any cocktail party. And the first people to buy these internet contact lenses will be college students studying for final examinations. They will blink and go online. Now, if you're a producer, on the other hand, you realize that brand loyalty is going to be put to the test. When people can see all prices inside their contact lens, it means that brand loyalty is going to be very, very important. You have to establish your brand, or else the consumer will instantly go to another product. But there's even another transition taking place, and that's a transition from commodity capitalism to intellectual capitalism. Tony Blair liked to say that England derives more revenue from rock and roll than it does the coal mining industry. That's because commodity prices like food have been dropping for 150 years. This morning, you had breakfast that the King of England could not have had 100 years ago. That's how cheap food is today because of mass production, better containerization. But the mind, you cannot mass produce the mind. And that's why intellectual capital is going to be more and more important for the economy. That means creativity, movies, artwork, software. That means the ability to produce creative, innovative, imaginative new products will be increasingly important in the new economy. And again, this is so profound. It's even changing the way the English language is spoken. When chips go into toys, for example, toys become intelligent, it's creating a problem for the English language, a contradiction in terms called smart Barbie dolls. Another contradiction in terms is Microsoft works. That is also a contradiction in terms. Now, I have ultimate respect for Microsoft. The point is that this revolution is thoroughgoing and profound, and it means that business has to keep up with these changes. It means that you have to have brand loyalty. It means you have to be in a different competitive environment where products change all the time with the speed of Moore's Law. And remember also that in 10 years' time, Moore's Law begins to slow down. And so we have to adjust again. Silicon Valley could become a rust belt in 10 years' time unless science can create a post-Silicon era.
So this leads me to a question that I want to throw to you, Peter, and see what you have. One of the things we've seen with Moore's Law is that information processing becomes essentially free.